Welcome to the Screen Rot Podcast, the show where we discuss the worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. I'm here with Jake Farrell, as always. Fucking hell.
First take every time. Great to be here, Jacob. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, always. Mate. How's your week been?
All right. I mean, we spent a lot of time together this week.
Went to Norwich.
Yeah, went to Norwich
Fucking
together.
Hell.
Just on a trip, just for the weekend. No.
Romantic getaway. Had brunch at Bill's.
Yeah. Jacob's fiance was a bit miffed about having to look after the two kids, but he said, I need some time with Jake, and that's what we did. So, no, we were there for comedy.
Did a gig. Norwich. Fucking horrible, really, wasn't it? It was miserable little theatre where they couldn't fucking stop telling us how they'd had Shakespeare on the week prior.
Yeah, and with that real look in their eyes of like, and this ain't that, buddy.
It's better than you.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
And then on the way home, in desperate search of any complex carbohydrates we could get our hands
Eating
on.
McDonald's off the bonnet of my car, of my electric vehicle while it charges. That was the highlight of the week. I had a lump in and around the sort of dangerous area of my bollocks. And that was, into the GP last week to sort of, what do you think? Better have a quick ultrasound, urgent ultrasound, straight in. And the bad news is I'm cancer free, so it looks like I'm going to live.
Looks like you're going to be fine.
Unfortunately, I've got some dreadful news. I'm going to live for a lot longer than I thought I might.
Might have to go to Norwich to do another gig.
Unfortunately, man, looks like life's going on for me.
Looks like I've got a clean bill of health, man.
Unfortunately, my kids are going to get to watch me grow old. But so this week we're discussing Mikey Menace. Mikey Menace is a sort of Romford-based. I don't really know what he does. He's a man based in the sort of border between Essex and East London who films himself sort of screaming and shouting about drinking and getting on it at the weekend. That's basically it.
That's his vibe, yeah. I think that's his overall vibe.
It's one of the many who sort of started in lockdown and has now sort of built a following just doing that. And he sort of documents his everyday life, sort of, pushing around that area of the woods and just sort of swearing into a phone. It's shit. It's horrible stuff, but I think it's worth discussing. As always, if you enjoy it, share the reels, listen to it, send it to your mates, subscribe on YouTube, just do all that stuff because it helps, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's like a couple of clicks and it just helps, doesn't it?
100%, and also should say the excellent theme music to the show.
Yeah,
by Jose Jr.
Thanks, Jose.
Get the EP now. Album coming out in January.
Buzzing for that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mikey Menace.
Let's go. Mikey Menace this week. The man, the myth, the menace.
The man, the myth, the menace, yeah. I think you're really going to have to help me with this one.
Yes, I mean, this is one that I brought to your attention. I don't know where I found Mikey Menace. Mikey Menace is a bald man who kind of motors around sort of the outskirts of Essex and East London, just sort of screaming into his phone.
Yeah.
About drinking, about getting on it, about using sex workers.
Yeah. Not the words that he uses for that.
No. See,
we'll
his kind of catchphrase is, so the word he uses for prostitutes is tear asses.
Not a word we condone. We are a sex-positive podcast, I think, no? You yourself have been engaged in sex work, as you famously talked about in your most recent show. So,
do you want to talk about that?
Happy to. Always happy to.
Yeah, I'm a sex worker.
So you personally are offended by the use of the term tear asses, aren't you?
I've fallen into sex work.
Jacob's fallen into sex work. We actually had a falling out where I was referring to Jacob as a tear ass in front of people.
Tear ass, I think it's Cockney rhyming slang for brass, but I think
Right.
that's Cockney rhyming slang for something else. It doesn't really make sense. To clarify what you're talking about, yeah, I'm a sex worker in the sense that I was on television once. I got some foot perverts contacting me, asking me for content and asking me for materials. They wanted pictures of my feet in my socks. They wanted the dirty socks. And let me tell you, they fucking got them. My PayPal was blessed, and I still do it now. Some of them might watch, and I just want to say to you lads, thank you very much.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't shame them. They do whatever they want with those socks, pants they've had in the past, and fair enough to them. They're not doing me any harm. But do remember, all of you, if you get any ideas about sharing stuff or trying to out me, I know where you live.
Yeah, that is the.
And I know some bad people. And me and Kid Frankie will be on that motorway quicker than you can say fucking wet socks, right? So don't get any fucking ideas.
Jacob and Mikey Menace turning up at a harmless foot pervert's house in Northampton to.
They're not Northampton. I can't. I do know where they live, and I can't say it. But anyway, so yeah, I do a bit of it. Anyway, so Mikey Menace, he likes prostitutes, he likes getting on it, and he likes drinking. And the first clip we're going to watch is I think it was the one that sort of got me introduced to Mikey.
The origin story.
And the way he's speaking in this clip, and I think this is a really crucial thing to know. The thing with Mikey Menace, yeah, I'm very lucky in that I've got a beautiful fiance, I've got a career that I enjoy, I've got lovely children, I've got good friends like yourself.
Yeah, you're cancer free.
I am cancer free. Yeah. Well, for now, I'm really doing my best. Those fucking vapes. But basically, I think if I lost any one of those things, I'd become Mikey Menace quite quickly. I'd get rid of my comb over. I'd shave it off.
A lot off, yeah.
I'd put on 20 stone, and I'd be motoring around in a mobility scooter, you know, visiting the Marriott hotel and ordering brasses and powders. So I think that's something you got to bear in mind throughout this whole episode. Is I don't think anyone listening to this, especially like blokes, you know what I mean, normal people, like, you know, the fucking blue-haired freaks won't be able to relate to this. So you can turn off and tune in when we, you know, discuss some of your shit, you know, Keith Starmer, right? But normal people will look at Mikey and go, yeah, I'm you know that whole 3 degrees of separation thing?
Yeah.
You know that thing with like, you know, we're only 3 degrees away from
there,
Hitler.
but for the grace of God go I, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So like, you probably know someone who knows someone who knew Hitler. Do you know what I mean? That's how that works.
Is that?
Yeah, that's how it works. So essentially, we're never, to apply that to Mikey Menace, we're only three bad decisions away from Mikey.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? You, like today, you could say something on this podcast, you lose your job. Yeah,
that is the constant worry that I live with, actually.
You go home and tell your wife you've lost the job, you have an argument, she kicks you out on the street.
Yeah.
Quickly, you're this guy.
Not far off.
Just bear that in mind.
Bear that in mind,
right.
all right.
So this first clip, Mikey's in the Marriott hotel, chain hotel that he frequents a lot, and the tone within which he's speaking, he's got this slightly tired end of a journey. I've come a long way, but here I am, and I've got what I need. So just bear that in mind when you're watching this clip.
Just had the biggest line of fucking dickhead.
That's Coke.
And I'm having a drink in a Marriott now, and I've got a brass on the go tonight. I've done a little scam, and I've earned a few quid. Little brasses in the hotel. I'm in a Marriott, boy. This is how I'm rolling tonight, son. Terraces and powder.
Now, he's so proud of himself. He's so happy with himself. And he's permanently moving. He's clearly just gone to the toilet to have his line of dicky. Yeah. And, you know, Terrace having a nice little drink in the Marriott.
He's breathing like a 75-year-old miner. He's got like
he's so unwell.
His nasal cavities are like the width of a pin. He's not the picture of health. I'll give him that. And I just love, like you say, the pride at being at a Marriott in Romford.
I'm at the Marriott, boy. And that's something that sort of fell into our vernacular for a long time, didn't it? For a long time, you and I, it's like announcing you're at this destination that you're excited to be. So like if you finish a long day at work, I'm on the sofa, boy.
Sofa boy.
Making dinner and you're hungry, I'm in the kitchen,
boy. Talking of stuff that makes your wife want to divorce you, that was almost a divorce breaker.
What? How often you said that to her?
Yeah. And often how I was narrating what she was doing. If she was doing the washing up, you're doing the washing up, boy.
I'm in the bath, boy.
Yeah, we're in the car, girl. And bear in mind, she doesn't have a fucking clue what I'm talking about.
Well, of course she does. Because if you showed her... I've made the mistake of showing my girlfriend The Menace before.
Oh, God.
They think he's disgusting.
Well, they are right. And this is where we might be slightly kind of misaligned, I think, in that...
I think there's a beauty in The Menace.
I think that he might be evil.
No, he's not. No, he's innocent. What's he done wrong? He's done a little scam.
God
knows what that means.
So he's all right. Let's go through what he's done wrong. Then he's done a scam.
Fine.
Is he using that word interchangeably, as in like I've done a bit of graft, or does he actually mean?
No. I think he has done a crime. I think he has committed a crime. I don't really understand what Mikey does. To give you a bit more background, he films himself. At one point, it seemed like he ran a burger van at Romford Market because he'd sort of walk past the van and be like, "These are my girls working for me," and he'd film these girls just sort of telling him to fuck off. He's always in a different car. I can't tell if he's a car dealer.
Yes.
But I do think when he refers in this video to I've done a scam, he's committed a crime to earn some money.
Okay. So that's the first thing he's done wrong. The second thing is he's openly talking about Class A drug use.
There's nothing wrong with that. Jay Borley on drugs.
Yeah.
Catch it on BBC Sounds. I won an award for it. Where's the award?
Okay. 2 episodes in, 2 mentions of the aria. So he's, I mean, all right, lots of people do drugs on the weekends. So
Done a line of Dicky.
He's done the biggest line of Dicky, and he's utilising the services of sex workers. As we said, we're a sex-positive podcast. You yourself are a sex worker. Many people would say to Mikey on that score, kind of, Yas Queen, well done.
This is it.
I'm not whore-shaming anyone or kink-shaming anyone.
Is whore-shaming all right to say?
I think that it's one of those weird words where it's like they've reclaimed that word and it's like, I'm a whore. Or I've just said something incredibly offensive. One of the two.
I don't imagine many whores are watching this. We'll watch it one more time. I just want to watch the origin story of Mikey one more time. Yeah. I want the viewer to just try and imagine what a doctor would say if they were to watch Mikey.
Just had the biggest line of fucking Dicky, and I'm having a drink in a Marriott now, and I've got a brass on the go tonight.
On the go,
I've done a little
already
scam
there.
and I've earned a few quid.
Oh, a little furtive look around.
In the hotel. I'm in a Marriott, boy. This is how I'm rolling tonight, son.
This is how I'm rolling.
Terraces and powder.
The little grin when he turns the camera around to show. It looks like it's Christmas as well, right?
Yeah, it's just a well-lit hotel foyer, like budget hotel foyer. There are people there. There are people there who are like in town for business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you're stopping there before going to the airport, 100%. Maybe. And he's there. He's probably the only one drunk. He's definitely the only one with a line of Dicky. And he's got some poor fucking brass sat there dressed to the nines, drinking G&Ts before having to go to a hotel room with him.
With a man who's breathing.
You'd
like
worry he was going to die. If you were a sex worker, 100%. You'd be like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to get done for manslaughter tonight. I'm going to kill
Michael, do you have any conditions that I should be aware of before we start?
Terrace.
And so this was the video that kind of made him... That's a bit Voldemort, that is. This is kind of like the origin story. This is kind of what made him famous, right?
I mean, the thing is, I can't really tell where he started, to be honest with you.
And he's on. What is it, like 100k followers now? He's not an insignificant presence.
But it's a very kind of local thing. It's a very like I don't imagine anyone up north knows who he is. I think it's very much that kind of Essex, East London thing. He sort of falls into the same category as. Do you remember the artist taxi driver? Do you remember him?
Yes.
He was like this kind of. I think he's a cab driver, but it's a lot of that sort of film yourself while driving. That kind of it's almost political. I think a lot of what Menace was doing during lockdown was sort of screaming and shouting, like, "Boris, you can let us out, Boris." Do you know what I mean? And it sort of came up with that, and now it's kind of descended into this. I mean, we'll watch the next one. He, I think it's the thing with Menace is you go, what's real? Do you know what I mean? Like I think he did have a brass in the hotel there, and I do think he'd done a big line of Dicky.
The biggest line.
And I do think, a lot of it. But then there's some of it. So I think we should address the fact I've had, I've not used a sex worker myself.
No,
but I've had evenings where brasses have been present, and there've been times when I've sort of messaged you and gone, "Yeah, I'm in the Marriott, boy. I'm at the villa." I'm on the island in Ibiza. Someone's brought a few brass back, and it's all going a bit west. And you've gone, this can't be real. Yeah. Where does the truth lie? That's the interesting part, I think. Because how much of it is real? How much of it is said for effect? How much of it does he not know? I mean, the next clip, he's off his nut. He's driving. So fair, I will say,
Let's just take it as read at this point that he's off his nut, right? If we have to say that before every video, we're going to be here till next Tuesday.
In the next one, he's driving the car. And I guess with that, you go, fair enough.
Our studio's falling down around us here. And by our studio, I mean the £8 scarf that Jacob bought. And we've sellotape behind us.
No income tax, no VAT. So in this next clip, he is driving and he's off his nut. So that's a crime, fair enough. But he's hallucinating. The thing to say before you watch this... He's screaming about another driver that he's annoyed about, and the camera pans enough to show you there's no one there.
Yeah.
So we'll watch this.
If you're listening to this, bear in mind, when he's talking about the other driver, there is no one there.
See this cunt in this focus?
No one
He's
there.
pissed me off.
There's literally no one
This
there.
wanker.
No one there.
What's this? You fucking wanker!
Throwing stuff.
Throwing
Cunt! You fucking elderly cunt!
There's no one there.
At the end, you fucking elderly cunt.
In his hallucination, he's trying to run a geriatric off the road. He's not hallucinating where he's the big man and he's like doing someone that looks like a contestant on Love Island. He's murdering someone who is a geriatric person, driving a Ford Focus as well.
He's attacking a It's broad daylight as well. He's driving down like a B road on the edge of Essex and he's just attacking someone who's down there. And what I'm going to ask you to do on this, we're going to watch it one more time. He's in such a bad way.
Terrible
and
way.
At the end of this clip, he makes a noise. And I've done this before, where I've been either hungover or on it, and I'm out of puff. And it's like, you're shouting and you're trying to get breath in, but you kind of do this noise of going, where you're kind of trying to stop yourself vomiting, but you're trying to get air in your lungs. Just right at the end of the clip, it's just after he says, "You elderly cunt," and he takes a breath and he goes,
See this cunt in this focus? He's pissed me off. This wanker. What's this? You fucking wanker! You cunt!
Listen.
You fucking elderly cunt!
And that looks to me like a really kind of nice bit of commuter belt Essex.
Yeah, it's Epping Forest.
It's like Shenfield or something, isn't it?
Someone has spent an absolute mint. They've spent 700 grand on a 3-bed there,
Yeah.
and they got this fucking lunatic driving around in what's probably a stolen car, throwing bananas at people that aren't there. It's like Marriot car. It's like he's just throwing stuff out the fucking car. So he's not a well man, but as I say, I don't know how much is real.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying is like you get yourselves tangled up in these situations where the Jacob that I know, the kind of lovable dad of two, is then in Ibiza or wherever you are, and there's criminal elements present. And you are inhabiting another character. And I don't believe that is real for you. I don't want to extend Mikey the same sympathy here. I just think like he is what he is. You know what I mean?
What happens with me? You know, I go out to Ibiza. We're referring to, and the thing is, I've got to be careful because I can't say who I was with or what I was doing or anything like that. But I was in Ibiza. So with a few pals of mine, and
so you're doing it now. You're becoming Mikey as you're saying it.
The breath gets heavy. I was out there.
I was out in Ibiza.
Terraces with powder. No, I was, and you know the girls are there. What happened with me? And I'll tell you the story. I'm just running the story through.
Yeah. Which bits you have to edit out?
Right. We might have to cut this. We don't really do editing, but we might have to cut this. We're out there, and I'm with a few pals, and two of them call it on and go, right, let's get some brass involved. So these two girls turn up, and they're Colombian, and they're all night. They're saying to us, because there's a few of us who've got girlfriends present, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, look, we'll stay, we'll have a dance. You know, we'll get some music on the Bluetooth speaker, have a dance.
Yeah.
And, you know, the girls are having a dance, and then, you know, call it a night.
None of this is real. I'm not. Yeah.
I made a mistake.
The scarf's fully gone now. We're just going to get rid of it.
Yeah. Basically, I made a mistake. Me and a pal of mine, we go, right, I was like, I'm going to do a little good night line of Cat, get me out of it. He's going to do a big old line of Charlie to get himself set. And then he'll crack on with the girls, I'll go to bed. Got our lines mixed up. I ended up doing a big old hoof of fucking coke. So I go upstairs to try and get to sleep, and I'm awake for hours just listening to them downstairs. He's done a line of Cat. Now, he's done a line of Cat. And these girls keep saying, you want drugs, you want drugs, you want drugs.
No, we're going to have to cut that out. We can't do that.
That would be right. And we're saying to the girls, no, we don't, you know, we've got enough drugs, we don't need that. And what they're trying to say to us is they want to do some drugs,
right? But
they need us to pay for some for them.
Right.
So that, because otherwise their pimp will be annoyed or whatever, right? So fine, whatever, sweet. So basically, we got them some stuff. We got them some 2CB. You know, the pink sort of laced with acid, it sends you mad, right?
Okay.
And they'd never had it before. And these two girls, and I can hear all this from downstairs, they lose their minds. They start giving a pal of mine a foot rub, rubbing his feet. One thing leads to another.
No, don't tell that. Don't tell the end of that. I think I know where that's going. We'll leave it there.
I can tell the fit, but
I don't think so, no.
Look, it's not a crime.
Not in the legal sense of the word.
Loads of it is a crime.
Yeah.
But basically, we could cut it. I think it's all right. They're rubbing his feet, and they're sort of rubbing his feet on themselves and blah, blah, blah. They end up slipping a couple of condoms on his feet and having sex with his feet.
Yeah. Like I said, kind of, I don't know legally if it's strictly a crime. Morally, absolutely a crime, but yeah.
Well, they wanted to do it. And anyway, there's more to that story, but I think, it does get really bad.
What you're saying, I suppose, is that you found yourself in this menace-like situation, and you're wondering, is Mikey, like you, a normal, nice man who inhabits this character of the menace?
Yeah, exactly.
Or is he actually
Is this
an
a
evil
weekend
man?
thing, or does he live this life? And at the next clip, it's that thing of how much of this is real, how much of it is fiction. So I remember telling you about this story the first time. And what was the exact line you said to me?
I remember when you were telling me about the story in Ibiza, I was just like, this is garbled lies about imbeciles. and like, I think there's probably a kernel of truth in it in the way that I do with the menace. But I just think to be like, oh no, we're all just blokes and we had a bit of character, I think it's a load of rubbish. I think that he is an imbecile, like a genuine moronic, evil imbecile who is kind of telling these flights of fancy stories. What I do agree with is that I think that they resonate with people because people want to experience the danger and the sadism of the menace, but they don't actually want to do it themselves. Do you know what I mean?
My mate got his feet shagged. He genuinely did. I've got pictures.
I'll answer your theory by saying this. My mate got his feet shagged.
I've got pictures. We watch this. Now, what I want the audience to do while we watch this clip is just bear in mind those words that Jake just said. Garbled lies about imbeciles. Keep that in your head.
Right. I've just got a phone call. My mate's landed a lovely little salt.
Not
so
true.
like a cunt, I've gone flying down the pub.
Also not true.
Thinking, yeah, game on here. Well, I'll get in there. I'll take 2 looks at these birds. They're both in white fucking loafers.
That's amazing.
And white jeans. Look like they've come off the council estate. I went, you cunts. Don't ever do that to me again. I said, the best thing you can do. Went out to my motor. I had a pack of condoms that someone left in my car. I said, you're going to need these going through them too if you're going to. You're a better man than me. I said, you'd be cheaper off. Going down Stratford sauna tonight, you cunts. Instead, you're going to bankroll them, Dickie, and fucking cheap fucking glasses of fucking Nutters juice, the old Prosecco.
The old Prosecco.
Going to be crying in the morning, going, Menace, I've got no electric money.
Imagine calling
or no fucking food money. Please help me. Well, bollocks to ya. Bollocks. I did tell ya, you would have been safer off having 3 or 4 beers, going to Stratford sauna tonight, spilling your load, going to bed, waking up in the morning all fresh. Instead, you're going to be crying.
Can I just say, look at the state of the man. Look at he can barely finish his sentences without being out of breath. And he's drawing the line at women who wear white loafers. Imagine him walking in and going, not tonight, darling. Not in white jeans.
Yeah, because Michael, by the way, who at this point is wearing what looks like a piece of Spurs training wear and a dirty paint-flecked hoodie, he's got opinions about the sartorial choices of these women, who also, by the way, don't exist, so it doesn't matter.
Imagine if that was real. Imagine if his mate had actually called him and gone, Menace, get down the pub. We've got a couple of swords.
Yeah. Oh, that.
He's walked in, looks at the bar. They're wearing white shoes. So he's gone, you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Gone to his car, thrown a packet of condoms on him, and then gone back in the car to video himself saying, they should go to Stratford sauna.
And I think as well, like, this is the moment where it starts going into, like, he's self-aware of the persona, right? So this is the kind of story that you imagine the Menace might have. But he's had to go out, buy a pack of condoms as a prop for this video. Like, he's like doing improv. He's doing an improv class. And then he's had to pretend this entirely made-up story, completely made up, that his mate has gone, oh, it's going well here with a couple of birds. I know what would make this better. If I invite a morbidly obese man down who's got the fucking lung capacity of like an asthmatic child, that's going to really like make this pop off. It's going to make this go even better.
Just play that out. Imagine if his mate is in a pub with 2 women he's met and he's sat there going,
bloody hell.
Well, you've got to meet my friend Mike. You think I'm sexy? Wait till you meet the Menace. Bear in mind, I'm going to point out this point, and you'll see this in the next couple of videos we're going to show. Mikey And I want to be really clear. I'm not being ableist now because I know for a fact that there's nothing wrong with him. He's just in such a bad state from drinking and eating. He's in a mobility scooter. Yeah. So imagine him getting in a pub. He's like fucking what's his name off of Phoenix Nights.
Yeah. And also it's like as he comes in, like I say, breathe like. And then if I was the two girls...
Bald head shining under the lights.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like snarling and screaming about condoms. If I'm one of the two girls, I go, which one of us do you think is going to shag him? Because it's not me.
Oh, God.
Also, I've just realised that in my mind as I'm doing that anecdote, Menace's mate is like some kind of Brad Pitt figure.
yeah, he's definitely just as bad. He's definitely just as bad. I mean, but in terms of like that line between fiction and reality, the next clip is another one where, because he does this thing, like he's aware that he's built a following. Do you know what I mean? And he's aware of what they want, and he's aware of the kind of stuff they want him to talk about. Mm-hmm. And so
he must be a bit. This is never what you imagined, though, right? I can't imagine. He doesn't have that feeling to him of like some of the personalities that were trying to get this following, right?
No, I don't know. It's hard to tell what he thought was happening. Like when he started filming himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to tell what inspires these people to start doing it. But yeah, he's found himself at a point where he has got tens of thousands of followers, maybe 100. And he sort of does these videos sometimes addressing them, you know, on a Friday. Oh, you fucking little lot. You better get out tonight. Get some dicky in ya and go to Stratford sauna. But then he also sort of tells these weird tales where he's sort of created this fictional sort of crime world of Romford, and he claims that he works for the Barron brothers, and that's he sort of claims that they're these like Turkish gang lords that set him tasks to go and retrieve money for them and stuff. But where I grew up, we grew up in a sort of similar area, sort of North Hertfordshire, just above London. But like we had that. I remember in the town I grew up in. They were called the Baker Brothers. Right. And again, no one had ever seen them. No one had ever heard of them. Like, everyone had heard of them, but it was just like this thing of like...
It's like made-up crime lords.
Yeah, again, it's like the Baker Brothers were down the pub the other day. Got to be careful if the Baker Brothers come. Don't let the Baker... Fucking Big Dave's dad had a fight with the Baker Brothers a few years ago, then nearly murdered him. Yeah, and it's this sort of thing. And I think that's what he exists within, this kind of small-town, like, urban myth.
Yes.
I mean, I can't remember what the next... I think the next clip is in... Is it the Pig's Head?
I'm not sure, but yeah, this one I think does kind of sum this like urban myth thing up nicely.
Fuck enough this weekend.
Oh, this is it.
Everyone taking out their fucking Saturday and Sunday blues on me. I ain't having it.
It's not having it.
I'm going to use accelerants and I'm going to light you fucking up. You come anywhere near me, I'm very unhinged at the minute. Fucking not normal. Don't wind me up, you cunt.
He's threatening the world with arson.
He's saying he's going to set fire to people.
Yeah,
I'm going to use accelerants. I'm going to light you up. The problem is, as I say, I think it's relatable, but at the same time, it's quite influential. I actually had a thing. You know what he says at the end there, where he's like, I'm very unhinged at the minute. I'm not fucking normal.
Yeah.
I had a thing when I don't know if it was the first time I watched that. I think it was just before Christmas. I remember because my missus was away. And you know, sometimes we got a thing on our door that says no junk mail, right?
Yeah.
And you get sometimes people put stickers on. Being like, basically, someone had put a fucking sticker on my door, being like, if you need a locksmith, call this number. And he stuck it on my letterbox. So I called the number and I was like, who's this? And I found where they were. And I just went into a rage. And I phoned this guy, threatening to kill him. I phoned up this locksmith, and he's just, some guy running a locksmith who's giving someone a bit of money to go and put sticks on doors. And I turned into the Menace. I evolved into the Menace. I was like, you listen here, you little fucking cunt. You pay your boy 15 quid, get him back round, do his rounds. You better get that sticker off my bill, or it's fucking curtains for you, my old son. I said that. I was like, I'm a fucking dangerous man. I'm not normal.
Sorry.
Get him back out here. Get a sticker off my fucking door.
Are you Jacob Hawley that was in Doctor Who?
But this is the thing, he's contagious, the Menace. Everyone. It's like I've got two figures on my shoulders. And one is the angelic father, the man who wants to provide for his family, who wants to make, woke podcasts for the BBC about how, we've got to help sex workers, it ain't their fault. And then on the other shoulder, On the other shoulder, I've got the Menace.
Yeah.
And he can take over at any minute. And I'll be on a flight. I'll be at City Airport. I'll get on a fucking flight off to Ibiza. Little bit of Dickie, you fucking clown. Terror.
In every man, there are two menaces. There is one, yeah. But this is an interesting thing about, and I think this is why its popularity comes from. Like you say, in lockdown, it was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking murder Boris for locking me up in my house, and people wanted to feel like they would also do that, but they were actually sat at home doing Zoom quizzes. Do
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
You felt that, and it's like the modern geezer felt like a caged wolf, and they needed to get out there in a Ford Escort, throwing bananas at empty dual carriageways and screaming
at hypothetical
people
pensioners.
Yeah. Watch this final clip.
I'm just down at Marriot. I'm
Just outside the Marriott.
Hopefully, I've got to act a bit serious because I've got the fucking Bluetooth speaker.
So what he's got a large Bluetooth speaker.
I've got a couple of Richards coming down from Adult Works. You know how it
Shout out
works.
Adult Works.
Oi, oi, you want son? Yeah, let's have a little blast up. Yes, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's have it in the Marriott tonight. Oi, oi.
This is. I just want to, like, God forbid, touch wood, we never go into any lockdowns again. This is what happens.
Yes.
You know, there's that Streets lyric, geezers need excitement.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you cage modern man. Yeah, and you stop us doing what we need to do. And that could be anything. That could be just going for a walk and listening to a football podcast.
Yeah.
That could be having a few pints with your mates. If you cage men up for too long, that's what they'll do. They'll purchase a large Bluetooth speaker. They'll get a microphone. They'll drive to a Marriott hotel on the outskirts of London, and they'll start screaming at people about having it large, playing 90s trance music and shouting about prostitutes and cocaine.
Yeah. Men will do anything to avoid therapy, including buying a large Bluetooth speaker and going to the Romford Marriott and inexplicably shouting at their customer base.
Aye, aye!
The
best bit, we watched the clip one more time, the best bit in that clip is where he clearly makes eye contact with some office worker who's just walking in because they're staying at the Marriott for some, fucking...
They've got a sales conference.
Yeah, they've got a corporate conference they've got to attend the next day. They've got, what the fuck is that?
Excuse me.
He starts giggling to himself.
Excuse me, can I see the manager, please? Have you seen the bloke that's outside? And also, on that, I had a similar thing, hotel, first impressions of a hotel when I went on holiday to Greece recently. I had a bit of a menace situation where I got off the bus at midnight and I could see this bloke.
How long have you been travelling for?
7 hours. We're delayed by 2 hours. We've not been on holiday in 3 years.
You and the wife are stressed.
Me and
tired.
the missus, yeah.
You're carrying the suitcase.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on it. My men's mental health is riding on this holiday big time. And we get out at midnight. Meant to have been there at 9 o'clock.
How many stops has there been on the transfer bus?
100, yeah, we're the last ones.
Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Always the last.
There's not enough football podcasts left in the world to calm me down at this point. And we get off. And outside, I can see through this window pane, this bloke is really remonstrating with a member of staff from the hotel, to the point where it looks like they're going to have a fist fight, a physical fist fight. And then we're queuing up, just trying to just want to get into the room, just want to get into bed, lie down. And I think, fucking hell, this is not the right type of hotel. This bloke's looking like he's going to kill this waiter. Then he comes over to the receptionist desk, and he's scouse, and he goes...
They're always scouse.
And he goes, "You fucking keep your wits about you, all of you. They've robbed me. They fucking robbed me." And the bloke behind the counter goes, "Sir, you've been drinking a lot. We saw you leave the money on the beach, and we think it might have washed into the sea." "No, you fucking robbed me. Keep your wits about you." And I could see Emma; she was getting worried. My wife's getting really worried. She's thinking, "God, this is not the kind of place. We paid a lot of money for this. It's gonna be shit." But I was relieved because as soon as he started saying that, I thought, "Thank God, there's another Have a Word subscriber here."
I'm not going to be the worst man here.
I was like, "Oh, whoa, wag lids. All right, calm down, everybody, calm down."
Did you say he went along? He'd said that to all of you queuing to get in.
All of us, yeah.
Be careful. Then did you say he went along and shook all the men's hands?
Yeah, he spudded all the men. He ignored all the women. We're fucking massive, lids. Get out of here. You go, kid.
I think that's a good place to end.
That's as good a place as any. Mikey Menace explained. An evil man, but there before the grace of God.
He lives within all of us. We've all got a menace inside of us, and if you lock us too long, fucking let him out, you cunts.
See you next week.